Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to SoulGamerTV. Today's topic of the day is my honest thoughts on Halo 4. So, the game has been out for 2 months now, so I think that I've given myself enough time with it to actually give my honest thoughts on everything that I liked about the game and everything that I disliked about the game, so I think I should jump into that. So, I'm going to start with the campaign. So, the campaign kicks off 4 years after the events of Halo 3. You awake as Master Chief floating in space to find that you're under attack by the Covenant. So from the beginning of the game, you're thrown into the action, which is something that I like because it kind of reminded me of the feel that I got when I first booted up Combat Evolved, and you were automatically thrown into action. So I really like that about this game. Halo 4's campaign is action-packed. Although, as much as I love action, that's actually one of the problems that I have with the campaign. Because the campaign in this game just consists of go to this area, clear out every enemy, and then repeat. I mean, sure, you can argue that every now and then you have to go hit a switch, but the campaign just made me feel like I was playing the same level over and over again, just in a different environment, which is a bad thing, seeing how in Reach there was a lot of diversity in the campaign. One thing I really did enjoy about the campaign, though, was the story. See, because in this story you have two major things conflicting in it. You have Cortana, who is deteriorating as an AI, and then you have the Forerunner, who has been awakened and is basically going to destroy everything. So you're kind of caught in the middle of all this. And just to shed some light to some people, the Forerunner wasn't just randomly made up in this game. If you're a long-term Halo fan and you didn't know, the Forerunner is actually the creatures who created the Halo rings, but they randomly abandoned them and disappeared, and no one knew what happened to them. So I kind of like how this game basically dove into the story of the Forerunner. Like, I really enjoyed that. But one thing I didn't like about the story is that besides the fact of Cortana, the Forerunner, and Master Chief, like, it really didn't have anything to do with the other Halo games. Like, it didn't feed off of them in any way, shape, or form, story-wise. And it kind of felt like it was more of like a fantasy type story, other than the kind of realistic sci-fi story that Halo has always had. Like how Halo always made you feel like you were in the middle of like some type of catastrophic war. Like this game is just kind of like the story didn't really have that feeling to me. One nice addition though to the story was the Prometheans. I really like them. I mean, I can't say nothing bad about them. One thing I can say is that anyone who has played the Conduit, like, those Prometheans and their weapons are just gonna, like, it's gonna remind you so much of it. It's like as if they took the Conduit weapons and some of the aliens and just kind of changed, like, their texture and then just, like, threw them in the game. But, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's always good to kind of get influence from other games. I'm just saying, they kind of really reminded me of the Drudge from the Conduit. Yeah, so those are just my thoughts on the campaign. Now I'm going to move into the multiplayer features. The first thing I want to talk about in the multiplayer is the Spartan Ops. Now for those of you who don't know what the Spartan Ops is basically little episodes that you download from Xbox Live. Then after you play through it as if it were a campaign mission. You can also play it online with friends, so I mean, it's just a nice way for them to kind of integrate the campaign story into the multiplayer in little episodes that you download. It's kind of like an ongoing thing because they're basically going to make more and then you download those ones. It's just a really nice addition, so 343, thumbs up on that one. Next I want to talk about the Forge. Forge has definitely upgraded. There are 3 Forge worlds. Each one has its own pieces specific to that level. They added some pretty cool features as well, like duplicating an object, which definitely helps forging go by a lot quicker. They also added a lock feature, so that just in case you're like me when you're forging a level, and you accidentally move a wrong piece and it just throws everything out of place, well, you can now lock a piece, and then after that you can't accidentally grab it or move it or anything. So I really like that. But my favorite feature out of all of them is the magnets. See, because what the magnets do is basically it will automatically align pieces next to each other, thus making it easier to create smooth surfaces and great looking Forge levels. So that was one thing that I really liked about the Forge. But this is one thing that I do have to talk about, because although Halo 4 has 3 Forge worlds, I mean, none of them come close to the Forge world that was built in Halo Reach. I mean, this game, they put out 3 nice polished Forge levels, but none of them can ever match up to the Forge world made in Reach. I mean, I'm hoping that they will later on make a DLC where you can download the Reach Forge world, or they make one that lives up to it. But as far as the 3 worlds are now, well, the Forge world in Reach was a lot better. Like, it was a massive world in Reach. These ones feel like small, to where you don't have that much area or freedom to do things that you can't get as creative with the things, which kind of lets me down, because all the new things that they added in the Forge options, I mean, if you had the Forge world that you had in Reach, you'd be able to do so much more with this game. So I'm hoping for some type of DLC where you can get the Forge world from Reach, or a better Forge world. But other than that, I have no problem with the Forge at all. So thumbs up to 343 once again. Next, I want to get into the online. The online I had a lot of fun with, although they didn't have like as large of a playlist that Reach did, so that was kind of disappointing. But the online I did have fun with. One problem I have with the online is that it just strays too far from Halo. Halo has always had its identity as its own FPS that set the standards for FPSs today. And with Reach, they proved that they didn't need all those perks and upgrades and custom loadouts to be a good shooter. They kept it balanced and very skilled based. But with Halo 4, they just threw all that out the window. They kind of just started taking ideas from all the other shooters on the market and put together this online system. I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, Halo 4 is fun online, but to me it just doesn't have that Halo feel. One of the biggest things that had like a huge effect on me in the whole change of the game was the scoring system. Because to me it kind of felt like it was spot on, directly influenced from the Call of Duty type scoring system, with like a kill would give you 10, and then if you get a headshot also give you +5 more to that, and then score adds up. Like, I kind of miss the old like Halo where it was all based off of killing someone. Another thing is that it felt really dumbed down. I mean, like the shields are like so low that most of the kills come down to whoever sees who first, or whoever has a stronger weapon, which also reflects Call of Duty in my eyes. Another major gripe that I have with this game was the weapons are very unbalanced, especially those new Promethean weapons. Like, a lot of those weapons kill you in one hit, or some weapons just drain life like really fast. I mean, like, a lot of the games are based off of whoever has like the stronger weapons, and I really don't like that. I kind of missed when it came down to whoever was more skilled would do the best. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of people who have skill are usually leading, but I mean, like, a lot of it comes down to just getting lucky kills because you have a really strong gun, and to me that just really irritated me. Don't get me wrong, it is a good game and the online is fun. I mean, those are just gripes that I have with the game. I mean, it doesn't make it a bad game just because I said like those problems. I mean, don't go into thinking that the game's gonna suck, because it is a good game. But as far as for me, like, it didn't feel that much. Like, it didn't. To me, it did not surpass Bungie's last installment of the Halo franchise. It just didn't. But don't get me wrong, it's still a good game, and I would recommend people to buy it and play it if you want to have a fun online experience, because it's still fun online. But for me, I personally would prefer Reach over this game. But again, that's just my personal preference. Like, this whole review isn't me saying that, oh, this game is, like, these points are bad. I mean, you may like some of these things. So these are just my thoughts and my viewpoints on it. And I'm not going to give the game a score, because a lot of gamers nowadays always just base game off of scores, and they usually forget anything that was said in the dang review. So instead of just giving a score, I'm just going to let you guys think of everything I said. So I'm not going to score any video games. That's it for today's episode. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, then subscribe and click the like button. Other than that, peace.